So we're asked to find the domain of G over F. Now the domain of F and G I've copied here from the last problem. And basically in shorthand that gives us the fact that X can't be 3 or plus or minus 2. Okay. Now if I'm doing G divided by F, I'm going to have the added restriction that F of X can't be 0. Okay. But what makes F of X 0? Well, it's a fraction, so it's going to be 0. I'm going to solve for what makes it equal to 0 and then say that's what X can't be. F of X would be 0 if X plus 2 equals 0 and X minus 3 is not 0. This just says X isn't 3, so that we're talking about something in the domain. This would give me X equals negative 2. Okay. So X can't be negative 2. Well, I've already got that restriction because negative 2 also makes that denominator 0. So it turns out in this case, I'm not getting an additional restriction from the fact that the denominator can't be 0. Often I do. In this case, I already had that restriction. So for the domain of G over F, that's going to be everything except 3 and plus and minus 2. If I draw that, it's negative 2, 2, 3. That's everything else. So that's these 4 intervals. Negative infinity to negative 2, union. Negative 2 to 2, union. 2 to 3, union. 3 to infinity. So 4 intervals that I have. Now, if I look for a formula for G over F, that's going to just be G of X over F of X. So that's going to give me this nice complex fraction. 5 minus X over the absolute value of X minus 2 over X plus 2 over X minus 3. And here I can see all of my restrictions. X can't be 3 because it's in the denominator of the bottom. X can't be plus or minus 2 because that's in the denominator of the top. And X can't be negative 2 for another reason because it also makes the denominator of the entire fraction equal to 0. Okay, now if I want to simplify this so that I don't have a complex fraction, I'd say this is 5 minus X over the absolute value of X minus 2 times X minus 3 over X plus 2. Now at this point, I just moved something. There was an X minus 3 on the bottom to begin with. It's no longer on the bottom. So it's not obvious when I write things this way, even though this is simpler than this, it's no longer obvious that X can't be 3. So I'm going to need to explicitly state that. I can still see that X can't be plus or minus 2 because that would make the denominator 0. Okay. And let's just multiply this out so that we get a simplified version of things. So I'm going to FOIL out the top. So I'll get 5x minus 15 minus x squared lasts plus 3x. Okay. And then on bottom, I'm going to get absolute value of x times x plus 2 times the absolute value of x minus 2x minus 4. Let's record that x is not 3. And then let's see if we can't simplify. It looks like we can combine our x's here. So I'll have negative x squared plus 8x minus 15 all over absolute value of x times x plus 2 absolute value of x minus 2x minus 4 with the restriction that x is not 3. The restriction that x isn't plus or minus 2, I can still tell. It's easier to see when it's in factored form, but plus and minus 2 would both still make that denominator equal to 0. So this would be my simplified formula for G over F.